you're launching like information kind of training products, right? Training programs. So, but would you have the same approach if you were launching, say, like, for example, an art print series or an original art series or, something around that? So,
Yeah.
do you think that they're transferable?
Yes,
that
but
kind
it's
of thing?
slightly different, right? Because, and Jeff Walker, he does talk about product-based businesses a lot. So I reckon definitely check him out next year because he has people who are artists and knitting people and things like that. So, yeah, exactly. So it's still about the desire, right? And so sometimes our products solve a problem for someone because it's a real pain point. Sometimes we're helping them create more pleasure in their life as well, or different archetypes want different things. So celebrities will buy something because it's exclusive, because it's expensive, because they want people to know that they bought it, for example, things like that. So yeah, you totally can launch something limited in that way too, because it is about the desire, but it's also about just letting people know. Sometimes that principle is the same. Storytelling is still so important. Why would someone want this piece in their house? What story? What's the meaning of it? Like the art on top of the piano, like that's from the artist Jess Watts. I follow her on Instagram. So I've connected to her painting because I've seen her paint. I've watched her mixed paints. I've seen her studio. And then I've got a limited edition of, the little birdies that she does or something like that. And she'll tell people it's going to be on Thursday. It's limited edition, and so I haven't bought one of those, but the desire is that maybe one time I will like it and go, oh, I want that thing.
So a couple of really good examples about product-based businesses like that I've seen in the last year is one is thrifted items on Instagram.
Ooh.
Right? So it'll be like a vintage Instagram page, and what they'll do is they'll gather items over a month or two and actually pick and choose and source them, and then they'll have a drop, and the drop is like the launch. So it'll be like we're having a 70s sunflower drop, or they'll have a theme, or it'll be all vintage cane goods or antique teapots, something like that. And so they'll build the thirst with the theme and then do a drop. It's available for 3 days, first come, first served, and it builds a lot of stuff like that. And the other one is YouTubers selling their merch. So my kids' favourite YouTubers have a merch drop on their birthday, like not my kid's birthday, the YouTuber's birthday, and it's a series of hoodies with a particular picture on it that you can get in different colours. And then 6 months later, they'll do another merch drop with slightly different versions of, like characters that they put in their animated videos and stuff like that. And so for them, they're selling digital products and they rake it in when it comes to so the gaming YouTubers, for example, it's a bunch of hoodies and T-shirts and they make more from that than they do from their YouTube income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the key is it's the storytelling in between, right? It's the
connection.
And that's why that consistency is so important. But for you could do the batching thing I was saying of it's all of the studio things because you could just batch all those up in the colours and then, but it's creating that desire and storytelling that is, it doesn't matter what we're going to be selling in the future and how we're selling it. It's that storytelling that's always going to be the key, right? And just knowing that if you share it with enough people, the numbers will always play out. But it's where I see people, they stop sharing, and that can be the problem. But I mean, not always. Some brands, exclusivity is their thing. Like Beyonce, exclusivity is her thing now, but she doesn't care about, showing up. She's like, you get it when you get it. And that's a privilege that she has, right? So, yeah, keep on showing up, storytelling. But I can see you feel like it's burnt out with that, right? And sometimes we lose our love for sharing. And so it's like, well, what would you share just for the pleasure of sharing? Because I feel like that's probably the energy of SMA too. People could see that I wasn't selling because I'm like, buy this thing. I was like, I want to share this with you so much because I'm so passionate about it. And I had like a completely new appreciation. And I think sometimes with all of our businesses, right, we have to just go back to it and go, okay, if I was just going to let it go, which you feel like it was like, I'll just let go of the idea of making money from art. So if I've got nothing to lose, what would I share for just pleasure purposes? And people can feel that energy then. It's like, let me get really geeky, like let me show you. And then you never know where that could lead to, because some artists, their info products or their teaching is teaching other artists or teaching other people who are creative, or just, you know, like the brand is creativity or freedom or something like that. But it comes from just you sharing. Because if you're not going to do it anyway, why not share what lights you up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we all underestimate the knowledge that's sitting in our heads.
Yeah.
Like you could make thousands of videos on explaining how to make forest green and mixing this and this together, or, you know, videos from start to finish, or why do you draw a rose like that, or why do you draw a tulip like that, or, you know, there'd be thousands of things. But I think, well, you know, you think about what content is out there. I watched a video the other day, procrastinating, but it was on it was this chef talking about pasta, and he was talking about the difference between, you know, handmade pasta versus a machine, and the different yellows and how they make them, and, you know, making sure you've got the right amount of salt and throwing, you know, the water from the pasta into your sauce to get, you know, just simple things. But it's a great video, great content, and, you know, there's 1 million odd views on it.
Like sometimes you, especially in the creative process, you get so in the process, but it's the process and the thinking of the process that is part of the storytelling. And so it's kind of like half the time I'm just in it and I don't think about, I'll get halfway through and I go, oh, this could make an okay.
Yeah, but you don't have to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you could just set up a time lapse, or you can go, you know what, this is for me, and I'll just do a day where I batch just behind the scenes. Like, and then it can be kind of separate for you, or you can just like ask Lily to just do it. But just pressing play on a time lapse thing and then not even thinking about it is good. But I get it. Like it's you can't once you start go everything's content. Sometimes it can just you go. Yeah, it really can. And like also that's just sometimes how our brains work. Like I've got a little hobby project that I want to work on at the moment that Marissa knows about. So I used to sew a lot as a kid and make costumes for my dance thing. And so I just was like, I need something outside of work. And so I'm buying like old prom dresses that I want to make like Tudor gowns, you know, like the Tudor period. Oh, wow. But like my brain starts to go, but I have to film that. I could do an e-course about how to do it. And it's, yeah, exactly. I start to, and then I go, look at all these people who are selling like costume stuff. They have no idea what they're doing. Like they're, you know, and then it becomes this whole other thing. And so sometimes you just have to stop yourself and just be like, yeah, no, it's okay just to be messy and imperfect, but also have something that's just for me. But even the fact that I can talk about, oh, I have this hobby is still a lesson for all of you guys without me having to film it. But I've taken it too far. I've got like 20 dresses now. I haven't even started. But it's just fun having a non-work thing for me to think about.